Hello. Good evening, everyone. I hope that everyone is doing well. I'm so excited. This is our very first um, interview with Voice for Her. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see the live earlier where I explained, but I'm going to give a quick just overview of what Voice for Her is, what the channel is, while we are waiting on our guest, Lady Hyman, this evening. And then we'll jump right in as soon as she comes in. So, Voice for Her is a peer support group that I started in May 2020 for millennial senior pastors' wives. We are stretched across the United States and different denominations, which I'm so excited about. It means different walks of life as well as different perspectives, but we're all in the same generation. So, and we're all the wives of senior pastors. I decided to jump in and pull you all into what has been just our intimate space for the last 4 years and share our perspective, share our knowledge on some things, as well as getting to know us individually. So I will be pulling different leading ladies to come on and have conversations about their journey, about their walks, as well as I'll be having conversation from what is a first lady to why all the titles. Oh, that's going to be my favorite conversation, probably out of everything. And then also, what does she do? And what can we address things that are being said in the media about us, about leaders, about pastors, about church, just so much that affects us as the wives of the leaders, as well as just believers in general. So I see I have a few of you that have jumped on with me. And so if you would just say something so I can see you. I can't see any comments yet, but I can see numbers. And so I appreciate you all taking the time to spend with us this evening. Comment where you are. Not just, hey, you're here, but where are you here from? Are you from my city? Are you from my state? Are you one of my Voice for Her sisters? Please make sure you put your green heart up. And so, and one thing you will see is that everything with Voice for Her is always going to be green. Love the color green. Green represents life, it represents growth, and for some people, it represents money. And so, and so we love all things. We love all things green around here. Lady Hyman has just jumped in. I'm excited, and I'm going to bring her on because I want to jump into this conversation with her. The title tonight is The Ultimate Sacrifice. So if you would just give me 1 second, I'm going to bring her in, and y'all welcome her. Hello, Lady Hyman.
Hey, hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing good, doing wonderful. Had time to rest a little bit today. Um, yeah, so I'm doing well.
Good, good. That's always good to hear. Always good to hear. I know just juggling so many balls, wearing so many hats.
Yes, ma'am.
Um I am just grateful that you had an opportunity to step away from everything and be able to talk to us on tonight. So I just want to jump straight in with the introduction. Tell us, who are you?
Well, my name is Lady Estelle Hyman, and I am born and raised in South Africa. I am the past. I'm the wife of Bishop Aristicus Hyman, and I'm a mom. I like I said, I'm a mom, just not to my 4 kids, but a spiritual mother. And we have 3 churches located, two which is located here in America, and one that is located in South Africa. I am the daughter of Apostle James Davids. He is a pastor in South Africa, and I'm one of his 3 children.
Wow. Oh, this is going to be good because not only are you a first lady in the States, you're a first lady in Africa, Plus, before all of that, you're a pastor's daughter. Sweet Jesus. A pastor's daughter.
Yeah.
So
Um,
let's jump in. Oh my God, it's so loaded. I'm ready.
mhm.
So, being from Africa, what is the cultural like church? What is it like in Africa?
Um, our culture in South Africa is very vibrant. It's very it's very freely, if I can say it. We are a country that likes to express ourselves through dancing, through laughing, through singing. And so when you come to South Africa, you are going to see a lot of free spirited people. When it comes to the church world, people are very hungry and they will draw from you. Different churches sometimes have different settings, but overall our churches is very much, you will rarely see people sitting down during praise and worship. Everybody will be engaged and everybody will be dancing. And if you go on our church page in South Africa, you will see how and that can go sometimes for hours, but we love to dance and express ourselves. um, that's the cultural difference that I've experienced when I came over here.
Wow. So, in coming from vibrant, engaging, and just sounds like full of life, was it a cultural shock coming to the United States as far as church?
It was because, like I said, we always will be engaging. It praise and worship. I was a praise and worship leader in my father's church for many years. um I did praise and worship, I want to say probably over 5 6 years, and then after that I took on the choir, so I was the music director. So I will always tell the choir, if you're not going to be excited, if you're not going to, then the people in the audience. So we was always hyped up and
Mhm.
vibrant and exciting. And for us, church is not what y'all said, what's going on. So it yes,
Right.
it was something. It was something else when I came and I saw, that in the comfort of, because some of our churches in South Africa don't have heating, they don't
Mhm.
have cooling systems. So when it's hot, it's hot. People will be sitting with fans, and when it's cold, you'll sometimes see people coming to church with little blankets to cover themselves while they're sitting. But the end of the day, it will get so fired up because we're just engaging and we're just praising God.
Right. Just on fire for God.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely, one thing you mentioned was you being a praise and worship leader and you being over the choir. So I have to insert this in here, and then this was something we didn't talk about, but it's something new that just happened. So in the last few days, I don't know if you have seen the clips of the two male praise and worship leaders letting the people out for not being engaging. And did you see it?
I did.
Oh, okay. Okay. And it's been the talk. It has been the talk of the
I've seen it.
internet.
I've
But
seen it.
have you experienced that? Not so much as have you done it, but experienced it.
I
Like
kind of,
you've had those feelings.
I kind of, I could kind of feel where he was coming from. Now, again, the way that he brought it over, but I
Right.
could sense his frustration because sometimes, as praise and worship leaders, I have experienced it where you were like, "Wow, ain't no movement, ain't no raising of hands, ain't no, I mean, what's the purpose? I mean, this part of the service, why
Right.
don't you then just come after praise and worship is going to be done?" But for me, it was almost like praise and worship is like an entertainment for for some congregations. I'm not, so, I was amazed. I was baffled when I see people, just sit back during praise and worship like that and just at some point I wanted to ask, somehow in the Bible, when it comes to if you understand where praise and worship come from and what it is, it's got to do with sound, it's got to do with
Mhm.
participation, it has got to do with giving God, if you can't praise and worship, if you can't worship and
Mm-hmm.
praise on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're going to do in heaven, because that's what's going to go down the whole time.
Exactly.
So I'm not
Exactly.
sure. I'm not sure. So yeah, I I felt I had to talk to some praise and worship leaders, even, when they was done with praise and worship, they was just like, lady, I don't understand. This is my first time doing praise and worship, and people just sitting down and just, and I'm like, just give it time. You just keep your energy, you just keep
Mm-hmm.
your flow, and with time, as time goes, God will work in their hearts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I share those same sentiments when it comes down to it. It's like, hey, what you what you over here for? We have this joke, well, not anymore. We had this joke going. It's Ricky Dillard's song. I don't even know the name of it. It's the song, What Did You Come to This Service For? Did you come to point a finger? If you didn't come to praise his name, then you should walk right out that door. Like for the longest, that was the joke. That was the running joke. Like just,
Right.
um in different churches, it's like, why y'all here? What y'all come here for? But one thing about it is, um, in seeing those, it at least it's not just your house, your city,
No,
your
no.
state. This is like everywhere.
Wow.
And even though we don't condone how they did it or what they said,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you understand. You
Yes.
definitely understand.
Definitely.
Um, and so, um, when it comes to being a praise and worship leader, being in music, what would you say your calling is? Is that your calling or is that your gift?
I think it's my being a praise and worship. I think it's my gift. It's my gift to, sing. Singing is a gift,
Mm-hmm.
has been given to me. I've basically kind of, trained myself a little bit singing when I grew up. And I think that's my gift. My calling, however, is to the broken,
Mm.
the hurt, the if I can call it like this, the underdogs, the ones that go unseen, the ones that go unheard. I'm a very I'm a very humble, flat, if I can say. I'm a very humble person. Well, when I came over here and I heard about the title First Lady, I'm just like, okay. Um, because I came from country in South Africa. I come from country. I mean, if you go on my page, and you will see how I am in South Africa. I'm very down to earth. Let me say it like this. I'm very down to earth. I'm very transparent. And I found out over here in America that's kind of like when you are a first lady, you sometimes have to be careful how you do it, because you can be misunderstood. Um,
Mm.
if you are too, I don't know, if you're too, not humble, I just had the right word. If you're too, flat footed, if you're too
Mhm.
yourself, you need to be careful, because there's a certain there's a certain standard that you have to be in. And so, yeah, that kind of was another cultural shock as well for me, because I'm just what you see is what you get. I can't pretend. I can't be one person in church and then somebody else outside of the church. And so, yeah, but my gift is my singing, and my calling is for the hurt, it's for the broken, it's for the ones that feel forgotten. That I feel that's my calling. I'm called for people to be encouraged. I always see myself as the encourager.
Now that's good. And I'm sure that in being the encourager, that that definitely plays a huge part in the um, in being the first lady in the church, both here and
Mhm.
back home.
Mhm.
And so, um, one thing you mentioned was that the term first lady was different for you. What is the pastor's wife called in Africa?
Just well, some of them call them teacher, or they will call them just my like my mom. They don't
Mhm.
call. My mom is Sister Helen. You
Mhm.
know, we just know that's Sister Helen. That's the pastor's wife. We have a term Yefro, which
Mhm.
means almost like teacher, like yeah, yeah. In South Africa, that Yefro means teacher. That's so we will always just be like, hey, that's the pastor's wife. As years went on, the pastor's wife also got received the title pastor. So they will either tell you but most of the time it's just pastor's wife.
Wow.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, do you think that's something that you have embraced since you've been here?
I do. I do because I didn't have much of a choice.
It's like, well, I'm here. When in
I'm
Rome,
here.
do as the Romans.
Some people was even confused in South Africa when Bishop, lady, because in so somebody I remember the first time when Bishop posted it, somebody said, well, Bishop, in South Africa, lady, we call it a female dog lady. So
Oh, oh, help us, help
so is
us.
that really the term that how we had to kind of explain it, no, this is actually first lady. We had to explain to some people what the terminology first lady mean and where it comes from. And so, yeah, it's not very much a term that you will hear in South Africa that somebody call a pastor's wife first lady. But over the years, it has become also now something that, lady
Mhm.
Lady Davids or Lady so and so, they start
Mhm.
embracing that.
Wow. Now that's going to be interesting to explore, like, especially looking as we continue on this channel, just studying not just the pastor's wife in the States, but even abroad, looking at everybody's way of approaching it or
Yeah,
addressing her, because from denomination to even what part of the United States you're in, it can very well be
very.
different, even
Hmm.
down to race wise. It's
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
So to hear that, I said it might make me ease up a little bit. And no, lady is a dog. It might
Yeah,
make me ease up a little bit.
it was just really one person that just, and they posted it too on Facebook, like, whoa, Bishop lady, oh, she's a lady now. Some people was, it's weird. But now that you mention it, in Ghana, I was talking with pastor's wife there, and I wish I would have asked that question because there it was also just addressed as pastor's wives.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's all. I was just talking to them as pastors' wife, but I didn't. I should have asked them what do they call most pastors' wives' title here in Ghana. But it was an awesome session that I had with them, and come to find out some of the challenges that we're dealing with. Every pastor's wife, country from country, sometimes it is the same things that
Wow.
we. Yep, same things.
That's good. I mean, it's not good. Let me not
Mhm.
say that because it's not good. Even though we understand that we are going to go through things, but it's good to know that you're not by yourself.
Yeah, that's
And even from one culture to the next, and like you said, even from another country, it's still the same.
yeah, definitely.
So, um, and I would love to, even after the fact, we definitely will talk more about just different culture, how they see it, and because I would love to hear even from Ghana how they address it as well.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so with talking about Africa and being there, um, let's get into your journey. The journey. Ooh, the decision, which is why I call this the ultimate sacrifice. Um, when it comes to marriage, it talks about that a man shall leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, and they'll come together and they'll make a home. It's one thing to leave your family, like, and they're down the street in another city, in another state, even. But I find this story, and like when I say I was like, This is some love right here. This is some love. So first of all, to do it, and
Hmm.
this is some true love to stay with it. Not so much as your husband, but the ministry. Like, because it's one thing, to be in love with that person, but then when you tack ministry onto it,
Yeah. Yeah.
who? So
Yeah.
how did the journey begin as far as you meeting your husband? Can we go back to meeting Bishop Hyman?
All right. Meeting Bishop Hyman. He came to South Africa now. He been to South Africa before. I think 2 years before he met me, he did come to South Africa. From what I hear, the story was God told him, to go. He didn't know where to go, what he's gonna do there. He just got his passport and left. And so when he got there, met people, started ministering in churches, and then ended up ministering for a bishop called Bishop Freddie Edwards
Mhm.
that was recommended to him by Bishop Noel Jones. And so he went to Bishop Freddie Edwards' ministry. Bishop Edwards had a network of churches
Mhm.
that was connected to him or under his umbrella. And so my father was part of that network in the South, in the Cape Town region. So he went up throughout the network preaching and ended up the city before he came to my father's church. He went to Paul, and I came from a long um, revival that I was ministering, a youth revival. And my dad said, "Okay, we have this bishop that is coming." I went and was under his sermon, and he's a great prophet. He is a master's in music, and I never was too keen about Americans. I was just like, hey,
Wait, why? Wait.
because when they come to South Africa, it's like they the people, you know. Me being who I am, like I'm very down to earth, and
Mhm.
I don't have too much eyebrows for too much extra stuff. I would hear how they have certain criterias that you have to. So I was just like, let me just. My father like, you have to go to this service because he's got a master's in music, and when he comes here, I'm like, we sing and we do music and we do pretty fine, but okay, let me go. And so I was making a big fuss about it. So I'm like, okay. And me and the band went that night.
Mhm.
And we came into the service, and the service was packed out. They know my father in the region. So when we entered in, they kind of took me all the way to the front. And I'm just like, oh my God. Take me to the front, sit me down. And I was sitting on the side. So he was facing the front. There was an audience in the front, and then they had a side section. And so I was ministering that night, and he started prophesying after he was done preaching. And he said, "There's a woman here that you just came from abroad." And I just came from London, where I was attending Bishop John Francis prophetic worship, well, it's called prophetic praise and worship service. So I was
Mhm.
there, and he said he was really prophesying just things
Mhm.
that I could, while he was talking, I'm like, okay, that sounds like me, but it can't be because there's almost 1,000 plus people in this place, so he cannot be talking to me. And he started continuing, you sang from when you were small, and when I turn to you, I want you to come. And so he was talking that way, I was sitting this way, so I said, nope, that person is in the audience there, it can't be me. And so he turned and he said, the lady in the black jacket with the denim skirt. And I just, from there on, I walked to the front. He prophesied, pray for me, and that's the first time I was knocked out like cold. And he said that time when I fell, that's when God told him, the person that you just prayed for, that's your wife. And so he was
Ah.
completely done. He said when he heard that, he was done with the whole service. He was like, okay, I'm finished. He gave the mic over to the pastor, and he asked him to escort him back to the back. And after service, he asked the pastor, can he talk to me? And I was just like, what does he have to say now? I mean, he already prophesied to me. So what now? I don't, please just. And so they came and they brought me, and he said, God gave me a word, but I can't just, say it here. Is it okay if I get your number and I called you? And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay. That time I was very focused. I'm not, I wasn't in no relationships because I
Mhm.
came out of, I think I was, by that time, I was already 2 years single when I just came out of a 5 year relationship with someone that, that didn't work out. So my mind was pretty much like, hey, I'm just I'm sold out for God. I want to just do ministry. I don't
Yeah.
have time for all of that now. And so that night he told me what he told me, and I went and I prayed and I said, God, if this is you, I need you to give me a clear indication and a clear scripture. And we talked that night on the phone. And, me being, I said, all right, Pastor, I don't talk after 12. He's like, oh, okay, you saved.
Come on.
He said, okay, you saved. I said, yeah. So we can continue this conversation. But while he called me, I think we probably talked for about 3 hours. A lot of what he was saying to me was confirmed was confirmation what I wrote down in a journal. So yeah,
Wow.
he's like, if God said this is it, how long would you want to date? I said, he said, probably like within the next 3 to 6 months we get married. And I'm like, yeah, if God, because that and everything that he said, that's what
Mhm.
I've written down. That if I meet someone again, I don't want to date them for a long time. I want to get married within the next 3 to 6 months. And so while we was talking, he was talking, and the meaning of my name is in his first name. Um, and so that happened. And the next day when I opened up my Bible, I received the scripture, "This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous." Sorry if you hear my daughter in the back.
You're
I
fine. You are fine. You are fine. Hello, little one.
have a 1 year old. I apologize.
Oh, oh goodness.
And so, yes, so that's how that. And so this year will be 17 years. That Sorry.
Say it's okay. We're gonna take a pause for you.
This,
Hello.
hey, she waving too, like she is. So this year it will be 17 years that we are married, and God has blessed us and
Wow.
greatly increased us.
Wow. 17 years,
Mhm.
4 daughters,
Yes.
3 churches.
Yes.
Oh, and then I want to go back because you kind of slid past this part. The meaning of your name is a part of his name.
Yes. So his name is well, people pronounce it. They pronounce it Aristarchus, and the meaning of my name is star. Give me 1 minute so that I can just gather my crew quickly.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. No problem. Oh, this is this is we're gonna wait for her to come back on. But this is real pastors' wives, real first ladies. It doesn't. There's nothing wrong with um, being prepped and being at a studio or things of that nature, or having a room to yourself. But when you're a mom too, they're gonna jump in. They're gonna have their time. The husband gonna come in. He gonna ask questions like he didn't know you was on the live. So I love this. This was not planned. So while she is waiting, I hope you all are enjoying this. I'm seeing the comments um, popping up. A confirmation of the wedding that was in 2008. Yes, balance, 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 balance. And yes, this is motherhood in our world. Oh, I was just telling them, I said, this was not something that was planned, but one thing I like about it is this is real. This is real. We're not in somebody's studio. We at home, and I
We
love
at
it.
home. I'm telling you,
And I
you
love
text me,
it.
you text me 4 minutes before, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
My goodness, because I was busy fixing somebody, and you sometimes you just get so carried away with
Hmm.
the daily activities. But that's it.
Exactly.
I have a 13-year old. I have a 11-year old. I have a 4-year old, and I have a 1-year old. So
My goodness.
I'm
And that,
navigating through teenage, preteen, toddler, and I have a climber.
oh,
I have an extreme climber. I put a picture. I put a video up on Facebook. That she climbs. I mean, she climbs on everything. My nerves is a wreck. She climbs on the
oh my God.
climbs on the chairs. She climbs.
My
Yes,
goodness. My
that's my
goodness.
life, believers, saints, to everybody, viewers. That's my
Mhm.
life.
This is like, look, the same thing you dealt with, she dealt with, too. She's dealing with too. And these
Yeah,
are all girls, right?
I got all girls. Yeah, all girls. And then there are still people that dare to ask me, "You gonna try for that boy?" No, no,
Ah!
ma'am. We that's it. That's it. If anybody can come and help me kind of juggle everything, all
Mhm.
of this that we got going on,
Say we might
not
talk
even a
about
maybe.
it. Say maybe let's go with a dog. Let's go with a
That's,
dog, cat.
no, not even that. No,
No.
that's just something extra for me then to start taking care of.
I can't say I blame you. I can't say I blame you. So you all are intertwined even down to your names.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
This is a love story, and I have, and I don't know if you could see the comments. I can see them. Can you see them?
I cannot. Is there anywhere that I need to click or something? But I can't see it. I see that there's chats, but not the comments on them.
Gotcha. I'm still figuring this out, y'all. Told y'all earlier, I thank God for my husband, my sister, my cousin who do all of the media and stuff
Wow.
because they can have it.
And they do a good job. They're doing an excellent
They
job.
can have it. One of the ladies on here, Lady Timmons, said that Pastor Timmons was in the wedding in 2008. She said,
Yeah. And looked so different. There were
"Yeah, yeah,
he gonna get me. But yeah, we all look so young and so fresh, and so we could all, man, you go back to time. We have to
mhm.
we look but he was, yep, he was in the wedding.
Wow, wow." Just a few of the other comments talking about balance, like you have balance and just you. This is the world of motherhood.
Yep.
When you had
Yep.
taking your taking your daughter away. So, how once you all got married, y'all got married in Africa, right?
No, we
No,
got
y'all got
married.
married here.
Hmm. Pastor Timmons hasn't been to South Africa yet. He need to come on.
Gotcha. Uh-oh.
Him and his wife need to come on. I can't believe we out there so long and they haven't
Mhm.
yet made a trip to South Africa. So
Sounds like it's been put out there. So, Pastor and Lady Tim is gonna have to make it to Africa. Y'all
that's
gonna
it.
have to make it on over.
That is it.
Oh my goodness. So you all got married here and
Yes.
then went back, or
Hmm.
wow.
Well, right after we got married, we went for our honeymoon. We went to the Bahamas, and then after that, probably like a week or two, we went
Mhm.
straight there to Johannesburg, because yeah, I didn't even get a chance to go back home to my parents' house. I went straight. We flew from here straight into Johannesburg, straight into house hunting, um, straight into the ministry. Yeah, because he already had a ministry that was up and going, Greater Vision
Mhm.
Recover All Center. So straight into that.
Whew, okay.
Mhm.
So he followed for the one that just jumped on. I just saw somebody jump on. So just to give a quick recap, Lady Timmons said they're coming. Just to give a quick recap. He's from America. He goes to the land where God told him, I'll show you where you're going and what you're going to do. This sounds so familiar, but I'll leave that alone.
Uh,
But um, he goes and he finds, he preached. Your daddy made you go to the service because he's a master. He got master
mhm.
in music.
Yes.
And then he actually prophesies to you and even tell you the things that you've written out.
Yes. Yes.
So you guys get married in the States, come back here, you're shopping around, you find your home, y'all are doing ministry. At what point do you return here, like to live?
Um, we returned. I probably came over when Christiana was starting to go to school
Mm-hmm.
because we did say we want them to have their education here in America. So I started coming over when she started going to 5K. I was still in and out a little bit, but mostly started to now move our way back. I think when my father-in-law started getting, sick right after the pandemic, that's when we was really more spent. I mean, during the pandemic, everybody was basically shut down and shut in.
Yeah.
And so my husband came home, um, well, back to America in that period. And we've been here, like I said, we've been basically, we've always been like with Christiana is now in seventh grade. Well, yeah, she's now in seventh grade.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been here ever since. More stable. We only will travel like if it's their break, we'll go over to
Mm-hmm.
the church there. But a lot of things we kind of start sizing down in South Africa because we've spent most of our time over here.
So when you all made the decision that y'all are gonna be here more than there, what was I don't know if I want to say what was your thought, what was your feeling, knowing that you would be so far away from home.
I never realized how important it
Mhm.
was for me to go home and just every other month because we could fly, you know, um, we was favored to be able to fly like that, go every other, if I want to fly home, I could fly home,
Mhm.
spend some time. And I think I took that for granted until COVID hit. And we had to be just here. The change it brought, even after my father-in-law transitioned, was very hard on me because now I'm literally here. I have to deal with the cultural difference every day. It's not like I can, escape back to South Africa
Exit.
and just get a breather, be around the village, my village, be around, like I said, you know, um, be around my friends that understands and that I don't have to be a first lady with. I'm
Yeah.
just Stella, just just that,
Mhm.
and I didn't have that um, here. I don't know. I have friends here, but stay out of state. Um, and then, like I said, it's different. It's a little bit different. It was different over here because especially when you're a first lady, you have to kind of know your friends circle as well, which is not like that in South Africa.
Mhm.
You know, um, you're not as guarded in South Africa as here, if I can say it like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
we we do know who our friends is, but it's for me it was
Mhm.
very guarded here. It's very
Yeah.
guarded, like you can't, you have a certain, like you have to sit up and you have to, there's a certain persona that you have to maintain. While in South Africa I didn't have to do that, and so it actually swinged me into depression. So I counted it the other day, after God really, this is my season where I I feel like God has delivered me from it because
Mhm.
I haven't been this relaxed. I haven't been this, feeling like, okay, I can I can get used to being an American
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Before that, I was just like, this is not for me. This I can't do it. This is not. No, it's too much differences, and a lot of things was
Mhm.
kind of in my face. So I had to deal with, you know, I really then had to deal with the cultural difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't escape it every now and then. I really had to deal with it, and then on top of that, my husband becoming the pastor of his father's church, Greater Cornerstone Apostolic Church in North Carolina. You know, having to deal with grief and becoming new appointed pastors of a it, it was just overwhelming, and it
A
was too
lot.
much for me. It was too much for me. I think some people have seen, especially here, have seen my struggle with
Mhm.
depression. And that even dealing with depression and not being around my support system at home made
Right.
it even more worse. I
Yeah.
had to fly my parents here because it got that bad where my parents had to be flown here to just be here for me. There was days I would lay in the room, not come out. My dad would come and knock on the door like, "Hey, it's a new day. Time to get on up, get dressed, come on out the room." You know. And if you have never dealt with depression, just imagine you having. I told somebody the other day, depression is you having a bad day every day.
Yeah.
It's just being in a dark hole, dark. So it's some place that I would never want my worstest enemy to be in, because it's like you're trying to climb out of something and you keep just slipping down, 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 down. Your mood is down. You're chilled. You don't have no energy for nothing. And imagine me having 4 children. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a person that love a clean environment. I have
Mhm.
a little OCD, and so 4 kids, having that and knowing that everything is not always going to be in place, because the moment I feel like there's a pile of clothes that needs to be folded up,
Mhm.
that triggers me, and that adds on to my depression, and I just go shut everything down and just go lay down in the bed and just so. And it continued for 5 years. That was what happened.
God.
When we came, yep, when it was. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. I had to still minister through
Yeah.
that. I had to
Yeah.
still do praise and worship because we just took the church over. We didn't have a praise and worship team. I'm the praise and worship team. And so
Wow.
whether I liked it or not, I had to do praise and worship. I had to push through whatever. But I'm glad that I was raised by a father such as mine,
Yeah.
because my father had polio when he was a year and 6 months, crawled on his hands for 18 years, was made fun of, was mocked. So he instilled into me that you're not a quitter. You're
Mm.
gonna go through what you go through. But
Mhm.
I had every reason. He will always tell me I had every reason to quit because I couldn't use my legs at all until God raised me up after 18 years. But you have the activity of your limbs, you have no reason to quit. There's nothing that you cannot. My father instilled that into me. And so when I grew up with this mentality that I'm strong. I'm
Yeah.
resilient. People can depend on me. I'm the encourager. And so when I hit depression and I felt weak, because
Mhm.
depression makes you feel weak,
Mhm.
that it was almost like somebody pulled the carpet underneath me. I didn't I was totally, identity was gone. I didn't know who I was. That the enemy of always every day talked to me like, you was the praying one. You was the one that encouraged other people. Look at you now. Look at where you are now. You think you're gonna get out of this? I'm gonna keep you in this. Every day you're gonna feel like this. It's just a constant voice. And yeah,
Wow.
I'm just glad God brought me out of it. He brought
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just hearing that portion of your testimony, and I know there's so much more. I know that there is, but that's something that a lot of people can identify with, but do it behind closed doors. They're silent. They're not talking about it, and not that, not from a place of, people are talking about mental illness. People are talking about being going to therapists. People are talking about that more now than ever. Yes, but to actually go in depth about it, and the fact that even with that, you still ministered. This is something my husband and I talk about a lot. That and it's no slight to those that can't,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
when you have been called and you fall, it's almost like, yeah, I can fall Monday through Saturday.
But on Sunday,
I can't, or I can fall until it's time for me to be on assignment. And the thing is, it took for your what you said, your parents, your village, to come to you.
yeah,
And I have to say, in this moment, um, this is why I felt like having the outlet, having the healthy outlet and the safe space with voice for her was necessary.
yeah,
It was necessary for myself, because of reasons like what you said. When you get to a point where it's like, I have sisters. For me, I have sisters, but I can't say but so much to my sisters because
yeah,
I love my sisters, but their first thing is to jump to her defense in the natural, not in the spiritual.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so, and so you want to protect them, so you can't say nothing to them. And then with your husband, he has more weight than you have on
yeah,
you, and so you do get to that point where you're carrying this,
yeah,
on your own. Your friends, even when you were talking about not having the friends here at that time, you
yeah,
know that's rough, because as a pastor's wife, a lot of women, even who are in cities that they grew up in, it's like, oh no, we are guarded,
yeah,
and one thing I can say is I'm grateful, that I've had the same best friend for, I can't even say how long at this point, but a very long time, who happens to be, in our ministry. I'm grateful for it, to have her, um, to have been able to have her to help me navigate through this,
yeah,
because everybody doesn't have that.
yeah,
So even to the ladies that are online that don't have it, you know, just being able to hear that you came out of it, being able
yeah.
to hear that you were delivered from it, and just because you dealt with it, it didn't make you any less anointed. It didn't make you any less anointed because you went through it. The fact of the matter is, you went through it. You came out of it.
Yes, and I had, I value friendship. I don't just call anybody my friend, but friends needs to be tested, tried, and tried. I'm a middle child, so I'm a very from nature. Already guarded, you
Yeah.
know. So so I take, but I have a friend. Lachey has been a friend to me.
Yeah.
I mean, since you've heard, they've been a part of my, wedding,
Mhm.
and that's over 16 years of friendship that has been. And I can truly say that even during my time of depression, I would call her and just talk her head off for sometimes hours, and she'll be just sitting there. I've never heard her ever. I never got off the phone with her and had to be like, did she just understand what I was going through?
Right,
Or
right.
had to be like, I didn't like the way that she responded. I could never say that our
Mhm.
conversation had an off day. The phone, even though sometimes the phone would probably hang up, but she'll text me right back and be like, probably network problems, but or if you want to
Mhm.
call back, call right back. And I'm like, no, girl, you done talk that girl's head off for about an hour. Just let that. She has a family too, so but she never gave me the impression of I don't have
Mhm.
time, or and she will give me spiritual encouragement as well
Yeah.
as being just that medium person that I would always say, do you think I'm wrong for feeling this way, or do you think I'm right? And she, girl, no, you right, you that
Yes, you have to have that person that's gonna be
She's that
like,
friend that will stand 10 toes down, even though I will sometimes know I was wrong. She won't. She will be like, "Girl, you are entitled to feel that way. You are entitled to feel that way. Feel how you was." And I just just on a platform like this, even just want to publicly thank her for. I always will tell her, thank her for just being present and being that person that will always, be an ear to listen to. So
oh,
friendship is key to me.
absolutely, absolutely, and it has to be tried. It
Yeah.
has to, I mean, I think the term is tried and true.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, say, do you come out as pure gold when you finish talking to me? It is truly it takes special people to be friends with us. And now with even her being a first lady as well, I told her I was waiting on it. I was waiting on that when I'm like, our husbands did their initial sermons, I believe. I don't think they were in the same year, but around within a year apart.
Okay.
And then every she said she always got you. They literally were at each other's initial sermons.
Wow.
They were at they were at every first service. Well, that's another story, but they were
Yeah.
at every service. They've been at every anniversary, every like
Friends. Best
he's
friend.
definitely a supporter.
Yeah.
So it was
Definitely.
exciting to see once Pastor Timmons was elevated into where he is. We're so excited. We're so excited. So you have an amazing friend in Lady Timmons, as I do as well. And so I always try to keep everything at an hour. If
Yes.
it's that hour, yeah, good. If it doesn't, we're okay too. Um, so in telling the story about even your father and what he overcame, um, one thing I wanted to know is in life in general, who would you say inspired you the most?
My dad.
Yeah.
My dad is my greatest inspiration.
Mhm.
Um, when I grew up, I wrote a book called The PK's Journal of a Preacher's Kid, and he did my foreword in my book. And I never knew, I never knew it, but he in there um, he mentioned that when I was born, I believe he wasn't there. He wasn't able to be at the hospital. And matter of fact, he had surgery on his legs. So after I was born, my mom brought me to him in the hospital.
Mhm.
Um, and he said he was so happy. The first thing he opened was the blanket to check my feet. My feet was my feet came up normal. He always did that with all of his kids because of
Oh,
his situation that he went through.
yeah.
But he always, and once he saw that, he said that was it. But while I was born, he had surgery, corrective surgery on his leg, so he wasn't able to be present. But that's my father
Yeah.
all the way, 100%. If I ever feel down, if I ever feel, I will always just go back to his sermons and his testimony and what he, um, you know, and now when after I became a pastor's wife, I want to say my second superhero is my mom. Just to know what she had to endure, you
Yeah.
know, as being a pastor's wife. And my mom is very background person.
Mhm.
Like to be on the forefront and had to deal with scrutiny, had to deal with people talking about her and her not coming out of a, spirit, not coming out of a spiritual house, but her mom is just a sister in the church having to take on the role, having to deal with different people, different attitudes, different talks and different mannerisms, people greeting the pastor and not liking having to deal with all of that. I really commend her for still standing with my father for almost 40 plus years in ministry. Yes.
Wow.
That why the other day when I talked to her, this is just a joke in the atmosphere, talked to her because we are on our 40, 30 days, well, 21 days of 21-day Daniel fast. Yeah, consecration, and they joined as well in South Africa. So I talked to her and I saw her eating chicken. I'm like, Mom, hold on now. Aren't y'all on your 21 days? She's like, I think I put on enough fasting over the years being in ministry.
I know that's right.
She said, I fasted when
Yeah.
we was on the mission field when I met your daddy. We had 30 and 40-day consecrations. He said, I think I put in my time, my daughter. Now I'm gonna fast a meal, but I ain't going all the way veggie now. I'm gonna eat my little meat. And they just smacking away. I said, go ahead. While I'm still waiting for my time, 5 o'clock to come. But yeah, my mom is the second one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's talk about this book because not only are you a pastor's wife, not only are you an artist, she's not just a praise and worship leader, y'all. She's a whole artist. Like I've seen it, a whole artist. So we're not talking about just somebody who sings at the church and you in somebody's basement, despite not humble beginnings, recording your stuff, but I'm talking about she in what look like arenas. So we're not just a artist, we're not just a praise and worship leader, we're not just a pastor's wife, we're not just a teacher, but we're also an author. Journal of a Preacher's Kid, published in March of 2021. How did this come about?
My journey as a preacher's kid. I mean, the book just speaks for it was my journey.
Mhm.
Having to deal with being a I hate when people, not hate, well, I dislike it when people put me in a box. I think there's a song of PJ Morton, which is one of my favorite artists.
Mhm.
Um, I think the word says claustrophobic. I have a hard time trying to fit in to your small minds, because I have a habit of thinking bigger than anything else
Wow.
I've ever seen right in front of me. And so he was singing about how, a contractor or somebody that offered him, a huge contract, but this was their standards, and he was not willing to give up he was not willing to fit into their box,
Mhm.
just to adhere to there. And sometimes when we see, opportunities, we sometimes break our values or diminish our values to fit into what people's standard of what people's think pattern is for us. Oh,
Mhm.
I don't think you should wear that. I think you should to put that. I don't think your hair looks. Maybe you should do it in this style. And sometimes we conform to that, uh, regardless if we don't feel comfortable with it. You
Yeah.
know, and he was singing no. And being a PK, I didn't like it. I did
Mhm.
not like the fact that people tell me how to act, how to talk, how to maneuver, and it. In the book, I talked about the first one is the innocent years where I didn't know about a preacher's kids, where I was just traveling with my parents, where I
Mhm.
was just going, 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 and I loved it because I meet new people. But meeting the preachers, the second chapter is meeting the preacher's kid when I was in school, and a teacher said, "You're not supposed to act that way because you're a pastor's child." And I'm like, "So what's the difference?"
Wow.
She was very mean too. I didn't like her. In fact, I didn't like her. I had to from her. But dealing with that, meeting it, and I was just like, so what's the difference? And that's the first time in grade, I think it was second grade, that I met the preacher's kid title.
Mhm.
Um, I talked about the benefits being a PK and also the not so good things about being
Yeah.
a PK. The sacrifices of a PK, that you have to sacrifice your parents. Sometimes your parents is there more for other people's kids than for us. And that all of that added to me not wanting this title, not wanting to be a preacher's kid, not wanting to. I disliked church. I
Wow.
liked serving God, but
Yeah.
I disliked church because the people in church, it was just so mean sometimes to me.
Mhm.
I really couldn't trust people because they was pinpointing out our faults a lot.
Wow.
Especially me, because I was always the radical one. I was the rebel. I was the one that was like, nope, you're not going to do this to me. No, 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 no. If you can't adhere, I don't think you should put that standard to me.
Right.
So that, and then becoming a teenager. So when they was putting me in that box, it was telling me who to date, what, who not to date, and so I date everybody the opposite of what they. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything was the total opposite because I was fighting to get out of the box, but I was hurting myself in the meantime. You
Mm.
know, I had to break up with some people. I was in a relationship, a life after the breakup, and then I talked about a chapter in there is my 43rd day miracle. That's when I met my husband.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that chapter is when I met him and how we, with God. I met him after there was a prophetic word that was spoken at the Bishop John Francis conference that says
Mhm.
43 days after today,
Right.
your life will make a 360 turnaround. And when I counted, and I sowed a 43-pound seed. And
Mhm.
so when I counted, when I met him, it fell exactly on the 43rd day after I left the conference. Everything was just, so yep, it's all in here
It's
in this.
all in the book. So I'm gonna put this out here. And I can feel like Lachey's gonna second this from me. Lady Tiff is gonna she's gonna second this from me. My best friend is on here, and I'm calling by her name and not her nickname. But my best friend Wanda is on here. I think they're gonna second this for me. So Journey of a Preacher's Kid
Yeah.
ends with the 43 when she meets the pastor and becomes the pastor's wife. So the journal of the pastor's wife. That's the next book.
Yep. Yep.
I'm so here for this. I'm so here for this, and we'll be buying it. We'll have you back on so we can talk about this, so we can push
Let me tell
this.
you that it was actually released last year in Ghana. In Ghana already. When I was talking to the first ladies there, they like this needs to be in a book.
Yeah.
Lady Hyman, we don't know. And then I got somebody there in Ghana that was he's a designer, and he's like, please let me design the next cover of your book. I please. So I have it's just a matter of sitting down and you know just jogging it down. My friend in South Africa, she helped me with this because this book took about 7 years for me, 7+ years. It probably could be more, yeah. And she was the one that always will encourage me, like, listen, now
Mhm.
we got to get that book done because so far I did sell over 500 copies of my book. Yep,
Love it.
yep.
Love
This
it.
book I sold over 500 copies of it, and so it's still going. I'm actually planning to do a PK's conference in South Africa this year. Um, I don't know if I want to call it just a gathering of the PKs or the
Mhm.
gathering of the rebels.
Gathering of the Gathering of the Rebels. This sounds amazing. And if I don't know if Naya is still on here, Naya is my niece. That's only something she be like, I need to
I
be
just don't
there.
want to cause no controversy because people be like rebels, but it's gonna be catchy. I
Yeah.
might do a session where I set it open because I don't want to limit it just to PKs. I want to
Hmm.
set it open for everyone that that's parents is in a leadership position because once
Hmm.
your parent is in a leadership position or whatever capacity, people always tend to put their kids in a box, but I want to open it up, and I might just have a session that is called Gathering of the Rebels and just have PKs, older PKs. I know Pastor Figaro told me she was in South Africa last year, and she was like, Lady Hyman, if you do that, you are not going to exclude me. So she's one of the people that I have in mind to come over and just let's get some of these PKs, let's get them, our leaders children, let's get them empowered and let them talk their truth and let them have a platform of safety because there's a lot that is asking questions that is not being answered.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to create that environment where they can talk and be unapologetic, ask their question. I've had a friend of mine that says I'm dealing with trauma that is not healed. I would go with my father to some of the people's houses, and later come to find out that children was, so she's dealing with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of hurt PKs out here,
Wow.
and so I'm planning to do that this year. So yeah, that's journal of, and so becoming my true first lady, or my true something. It's going to be something in that becoming your true first lady, or journal of a first. Wow, I don't know. God will give me the title.
Lord, the people are loving it. They are loving it. They're gonna get their passport. They are in agreement. They are in support of this. Very much so needed. When I saw your book a little bit ago, I said, "This is." I think I shared it with one of the ladies who she was saying she's trying to adjust or help her children navigate because they were new to being pastors. And so I said, well, unfortunately, I don't have much for you, but you know how before we could say nobody wrote a book about it, nobody wrote a manual about it. I'm like, it might not be a manual, but at least it's something that they can relate to.
Yeah.
So I do want to make sure that I encourage you all to support it. It is available online. I did find it on Amazon. Is there anywhere else we can get it?
They can contact me, email address, um, phone number, just
Mhm.
via text, and just, I mean, there's so different, many ways of just
Yeah,
Cash App, PayPal, whatever works out, and I'll get the book to you.
gotcha.
I don't have a lot because I sold out in Ghana, so I have probably only a little. I probably have like 10 left that I came
Oh,
back with. Yeah, because I made 200 copies, and 100 sold out in Ghana, and
mhm.
the others sold out in South Africa. Yeah, more than 60, 70 sold out in South Africa because I was traveling to Namibia preaching there,
Mhm.
and Cape Town, and then I was, when I ministered at Bishop Hezekiah Walker's, ministered there to their convention in Cape Town, and so some sold out there as well. So I only have a little bit left.
A little bit less. So, y'all, this is not only a great investment. This is an exclusive too because
Mhm.
she's almost completely out. So
Yeah,
we're gonna make sure. Definitely go ahead and put mine on reserve so I can get mine. I want mine signed and all of that.
I
Um,
will.
I will make sure that where can they find you on social media?
They can find me at Estelle Hyman on social media. If you type in Estelle Hyman, I am busy revamping my page, Facebook page. But I have a website. It is called Lady Estelle Hyman. I have a Facebook page also called LEH Ministries.
Mhm.
I said I'm just revamping a lot of things, getting things prepared for the new year. But I am on Facebook. I am also on Instagram. I am on TikTok, trying to keep up with, my sisters, the younger generation. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to tell me, listen, older people are now on Facebook. We go, y'all millennials, but we go. They get me
They
because
do.
somebody to put a post on Facebook the other day talking about all the 80 is it 84 babies between the 80s, the 80s,
Mhm.
all the 80s babies. Are y'all ready? Because guess what? 84, y'all turning 40. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. No, 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 I'm not.
We are. We
So,
are.
told my husband, I said, I'm going to South Africa to celebrate my 40th. And Tim is better. Come on. I'm going. I'm not going. No, I'm celebrated. They say not well, they something they call in South Africa, but we gonna have a good 40th. I'm not getting old. I'm
Yes.
getting younger. I'm becoming.
Exactly. Becoming. Sounds perfect to me. I think
Yeah.
everything great was born in the 80s. So I'm an
Yeah.
84 baby too, so I am hitting 40 this year and excited about it. And I'm looking forward to see what Pastor Coker has for me. Because his 40th last year was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I have enjoyed myself thoroughly with you on tonight. I do want to say that this will not be the last time because we have to hear about the conference. We have to hear about even the next book. I will make sure I add all of your social media handles to, if not on here, then definitely on the post on Facebook. I'm gonna try this IG thing this year since Facebook is
Good.
supposedly for old people.
Yeah, they said the older mothers, the mothers of Zion, they are on Facebook now too. So they like, my daughter was like, Mom, you will find my daughter's generation. They all on. They love stuff that is impactful, short,
Yeah, yeah,
impactful. They don't have time to. If something is too long, they scroll past it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you lose them. So I'm trying to keep their attention too. So my
Gotta
my
keep up
daughter's
with
like.
y'all.
Somebody the other day at school say, "You look young, but there's a oldness." I said, "Yeah, I am the mother of four children." Four? Oh
Yeah,
my Lord! Yeah, I said,
I
"Yeah,
love it.
yeah."
I love it. I love it. Um I I appreciate your time. I appreciate your journey. I appreciate you sharing with us. I am probably, and this is not fair to those that are not a part, but I'll probably have you for an aftermath in our private group. Just to go a little bit deeper, but thank
No
you so
problem.
much. Please tell Bishop that we appreciate him allowing you time away from him to be with us, and the girls time away from them to be
Yes,
with us.
ma'am. Yes,
We,
ma'am. Well,
we are,
I want to say thank you to you for allowing me to come onto your platform and to talk to everyone that is tuned in to take some time out of their schedule and just listening. People can be busy with so many other things. You have everything that is going on social media, but them just taking the time to listen to us tonight or just hear my journey, my little bit of itty bitty journey. And I pray that it was an encouragement to everyone that was listening. My words of encouragement will be keep pushing.
yeah,
Don't give up, no matter where you find yourself in life. It's just a pit stop. Don't put in your tent pins there. Don't set up camp.
yeah,
Don't set up camp for too long. I had to really the other day I realized that I had to denounce the spirit of depression and mourning because you can weep, but the moment mourning becomes a spirit, it will put you into depression, and I had to deal with that, and I thank God. So if God can do it for me, he can surely do it for you. Just keep the faith. Tomorrow is going to be a brighter and a better day.
I love it. You all have just heard the voice of Lady Estelle Hyman. Y'all have a good evening, and we will see y'all next time.
God bless you.
Bye.